Our third speaker for this plenary session is Professor Uday Kumar Mishra. Professor Mishra is a retired dean and head from the University Department of English at Tilka Manji Bhagalpur University, Bhagalpur. His academic career that spans around 37 years, over 37 years, out of which 20 years are out of India, teaching in Saudi Arabia, Libya, Yemen, Muscat, and Oman. He has taught in various universities outside India. Uh, has been an has been a very contemporarily relevant writer as well. He also happens to be our teacher, and uh, his areas of specialization are applied linguistics and contemporary criticism. He has supervised 14 PhD research scholars and published more than 20 research papers on ELT and English literature. I'll invite Professor Mishra with great honor to deliver his talk on changing ethical dimensions in literary writing and the emerging challenges of AI and digitalization. Sir, you have enough time at your disposal, because even if you carry beyond your limited time, we will continue with the valedictory session, joining it with the same session. We will not go for the break. So I request you to continue with your lecture.
Oh, thank you, Priyaranjan Tiwari, and Professor Vijay Kumar Rai, who is very much here online, President of WAAR. Manish Kumar, the organizing secretary. I thank all the distinguished speakers of this session, Garima Dalal, and also Nirmala Menon, and many other who are here online. The topic is all about literature created by AI. AI is all dominating the world of writing. In the keynote address, Kshema mentioned about a work, The Serpent in the Grove, by a Trinidadian writer, Jamir Nazir, which won Commonwealth Prize for the regional winners in 1926, this year. The story is all about a farmer working hard, but that's not the case. It's all AI generated text which developed after the publication, after the winning of the award. It is all the text I went through and found that the text written linguistically and also the culturally is all not man-made. It's all a repetition of words, a repetition of syntax structure, and full of similes and metaphors, unusual use of similes and metaphors. I have noted down some of the uses, like the roof talks, sat, groaned. It's all the roof talks, the grove remembered, the house remembered. All such uses appear to be very much not used by human beings as such. There are many writings like this. In 2018, Won the Road, emulated on Jack Kerouac's novel On the Road, 1957. The book has been written using a car as a pen. Ross Goodwin, a programmer, a ghostwriter during Obama administration, a prominent artificial intelligence creator. He outfitted a Cadillac car with a surveillance camera, a GPS unit, a microphone, and a clock, all connected to a portable AI writing machine that fed from these input data in real time. The sensor outputs were fed into a neural network to generate an unedited continuous narrative. It's all in the printed form. Ross Goodwin published this without any change as AI generated. A lot of works. I would mention one more, The Day a Computer Writes a Novel, 2015. A collaboration effort between a Japanese research team and an AI model. The team developed the structural outline, setting parameters and character descriptions, and the novel was written. So, presenting parameters, developing characters description, and AI generates this kind of novel. Can you imagine such a piece of literature even getting award of the Commonwealth Winners' Prize? This is very strange. In the present era of artificial intelligence and digitalization, such literary writings are facing multiple ethical challenges. What are those challenges? Absence of authorship. No author. I know about the post-structuralist Ronald Barthes writing an essay, The Death of the Author, in 1967. That was in the context of that when an author writes a book, once the book is published, the author's idea gets multiple meanings. Original idea of the author is almost gone. So the death of the author. Here is AI taking sources from different works in the past and putting them into a work of art. I don't call it plagiarism as such, as discussed by Mr. Dalal earlier in the session. But this is taking things from the sources, but not acknowledging the sources, because AI is all stealing the facts without accepting them. This is also the death of many writers from whose works AI steals. So there is a challenge. This kind of absence of authorship. AI also cannot claim to be the author, cannot claim to be the writer. Yes, Ross Goodwin might be programmer, but cannot be the writer. Another aspect of such a kind of literature is cultural erasure, because AI cannot go deeper into the intricacies, complexities of human culture, multiple cultures in the society. They cannot. They can only think of the leading mainstream culture. So mainstream culture is the base, while many other cultural areas are left in AI generated literature. So there is an algorithmic bias also, because everything is planned, programmed. And what is programmed is all coming in the output. So there is a loss of essential authenticity. I mean, the lived human experience. AI cannot present in the literature produced by it the human lived experiences. There is a kind of threat to humanism as such, because human power is undermined and something new is created. I would call it unethical. In genetic engineering, which involves altering the human genome to select or enhance specific traits, this concept, discussed as creating designer babies, highly unethical, and there is a control on it in the field of medicine. Like the designer babies, AI literature, AI created literature, I would term it as designer literature. Most unethical part of this. Once AI is dominating in the field of literature, there would be a chaos. Because many of the publishers go on the Goodreads, they will not give you the numbers, but the market of literature is flooded with AI generated piece of literature. I don't think what would be the future of literature in the coming 50 years. Perhaps human beings may not be able to distinguish between AI created literature and man created literature. So this is a very much a threat to the real literature. It is not simply a threat to humanism, threat to literature, a genuine, pure literature, what we call it. Because AI generated texts normally develop with the integration of a large number of modules, threatening copyrights, intellectual property rights, as they steal facts from original authors' writings without acknowledging the sources, falling into the range of plagiarism, violating academic integrity and professional policies by misrepresenting the true authorship of the work. Yes, Ms. Dalal was talking about that plagiarism used by students, scholars, might be helpful in developing their cognitive ability. Here I'm talking of a different kind of plagiarism that AI steals from different sources. AI, they also possess algorithmic bias, depend highly on programs available data sets for writing a text generated entirely by a software program. Software programs they have available with them, like ChatGPT, and also many other programs through which they create text. Very unethical extractions from available sources. And hence, many such ethical dimensions emerge in course of machine writing. Ross Goodwin, the programmer of AI written text, won the road 2018, has rightly warned about the future of such a text when it becomes more sophisticated. He says, if you see pattern like this, it may not have been written by a human. Yes, he makes the distinction between the AI generated texts and human generated text. And he says there is a pattern in AI text which you can distinguish. But my understanding is that in near future, the distinction may not be made so easily because the common readers may not find it easily. Because I was going through this work, The Serpent in the Groove, and I found the language is so poetic. Even the committee giving award to this story was of the opinion that the language is highly poetic and very much natural. So even the committee can be deceived. Why not the reader? The reader can also be deceived. I read out the portions from the text, The Serpent in the Groove. Just few lines, the first few lines. They say the groove still hums at noon, not the bee's neat industry or the clean rasp of cutlass on wine, but a belly sound, as if the earth swallows a salt and holds it there. People who pass keep to the track and do not look into the bush where the stone rings tie. Ask the oldest in the village, and you will hear some version of it. It had well there once, and a woman, the grove, and not forget. Well, the language appears to be very dry, no doubt about that, although it is considered as poetic because of the similes and metaphors used abundant. Lacking AI, artificial intelligence, and digitalization are radically altering literary writing, shifting the ethical focus from mere authorship to transparency, intellectual property rights, and the preservation of human experience. The core challenge is to treat AI as an assistive tool rather than a human replacement. AI cannot replace humans. Yes, that's true. In all other fields, wherever AI is used, it is used as an assistive tool. It must be used as a tool, not as a replacement of human being. With AI capable of generating entire manuscripts or poems, the historical foundation of copyright law, which requires a human intellectual creator, is heavily challenged. Yes, copyright is also heavily challenged. Because AI models are trained on vast copyright data sets. Original authors face challenges regarding the plagiarism and the unauthorized use of their intellectual property. Recent global rulings require distinct human creativity and supervision for a work to be legally recognized and protected. Yes, AI's work cannot be given copyrights. They need human creativity, human power. So many of the bodies and editorial standards dictate that AI should never be credited as a writer. Instead, writers are expected to transparently disclose AI assistance. Yes, disclosure of AI assistance by human writers is also necessary and rather obligatory. AI-driven market saturation. As I said, a large number of publications are there, range from experimental art projects to self-published commercial novels and dedicated anthologies. These examples showcase how generative models like pseudo-write, cloud, ChatGPT are changing the publishing landscape. The whole publishing industry is getting a threat, at the same time, a complete change. AI-generated poetry, short stories, and even novels have been produced as a result of these tools or software. These tools and software are used to create a large number of literature. Literature which lacks human experience, which lacks the generative use of language. Because AI has a repetitive use of language. One of my PhD scholars gave her writing to me. And when I was going through that, I found many of the words are unnecessarily repeated. I could see in each page there is a word nuanced. Normally, students don't use this word for subtle, complex. But I asked her, where from you are using this word again and again? Everywhere nuanced, nuanced. What does it mean? Even the syntactic structures repeated in the same manner with semicolon, colon. I say, without knowing the meaning of colon or semicolon, perhaps these punctuation marks were used. This is how I got this in this, the serpent in the groove. Days rearranged. Yes, days were rearranged, or maybe something like that. But this awarded story has these sentences. I'm taking out from there. Night remade the house. Night remade the house. Yes, literary use, I can understand. The metaphorical use. But this is not poetry. Romantic poetry, yes, it can be a lot. Personification looms large in this story, a short story. The grove remembered, the house remembered, the earth swallows, the roof talks, grove hums, the girl smiled like sunrise over a sink. Metaphorical use. The girl smiled like sunrise over a sink. Laughter could cut a hush, not cure it. There are many uses like that in this short story. So syntactic errors, yes, repetition of phrases or words. This is all there in this work. So my point is that AI generated stories or novels, making it difficult for the writers and even the readers to understand how this work can be challenged. My understanding is that AI generated literature lacked genuine emotional depth. And this gives a threat to man-generated literature. How can we overcome this? The challenges that AI and digitalization make. Overcoming this is itself a challenge. Perhaps this has come to stay. The only thing that human beings can do is continue writing with their creativity, with their intuition, so that there could be something to distinguish it from AI written text. Because we cannot stop AI to be used by writers. So this is a serious ethical issues. Ethical issues because it is in the field of profession. Writer as a professional must see to it that AI is not used. So there is a real challenge. And this challenge is all because as the technology advances, literature acts as a cautionary tale or laboratory for analyzing the impact of artificial intelligence and also biotechnology, surveillance, genetic engineering, environmental manipulation of all. So literature and literary criticism should respond to the technological age by imagining the long-range effects of our actions. This is what the challenge is. And in this situation, we have to see to it that the challenges posed by AI and digitalization are countered with the power of creativity that human beings possess. Because the creative ability is all in the humans. The creativity doesn't lie in AI because AI lacks wisdom. It can depend on programs. It can depend on AI tells. And on the basis of that, they can develop even literary text besides other texts. But the real challenge is in the world of literature, which AI cannot do honestly. Honestly, I must not use the word honestly, which AI cannot do properly. So This is for the writers to be aware of all the challenges and the ethical dimensions. That's all in this session from me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Misra, for a profound and inspiring address.